Hey everyone, Jorge the over here. Welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to share a story with you about my experience with rejection. So when I was in college, it was my freshman year. There was this girl who I found really, really attractive, and I just found her to be quite talented. She had a lot of potential, and she still does. And there was one day where her and we were hanging out, and there was another friend of ours who was hanging out, and she was starting to kind of like talk down about herself, like, man, I don't know if I'm on the right track. I don't know if I should be doing XYZ, blah blah blah. And then for whatever reason, my inner coach, my inner S decided to come out. My high S decided to come out and say, no, you don't, like, you do not say that you can't do XYZ, blah blah blah. And it's like, you are going to be able to do it. You got to do this. And apparently also my Italian side came out too. So I'm like making all this like, no, you are gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You listen here. And so and she's like, oh my gosh. It's like, wow. It's like, well, thank you. And so it was just my way of being of service at the time. Now looking back at it, and then a couple weeks, a couple months go by, and I decided to send her a message, and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna flat out ask her on a date, but I wanted to do it in person. I didn't want it to just be through message. So I said, hey, would you be able to meet me in front of the theater at this time? That's when I will have a break. I don't know if you have a break, but if you do, would you be open to meeting up real quick? And she said, sure, I'll meet you there. So I finally am walking over there. And as I'm getting closer, my hands are sweating. My stomach is starting to turn inside out. My heart is just like beating 100 miles a second. It was like my chest was starting to like go, tight. And we finally met. And she's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, well, not much. Hasn't rained in a couple days, actually a couple months. And then I decided, you know what, cut to the chase. So I said, hey, listen, the reason I asked you to meet me is because I just wanted to be transparent with you and just say, look, I like you. I really find you attractive, and I'd like to take you on a lunch date. Would you like to go on a date? And I could already see in her language of the body how she was thinking, ooh, how do I let this guy off gently? And so after what felt like 25 minutes, but really was only like 20 seconds, it was like, hey, Jorge, look, you're a great guy. I like you, but I don't like you. And already, as soon as I heard that, my negative thoughts started coming in. In fact, it wasn't my negative thoughts. It was my judge. It was my saboteur telling me like, oh my gosh, you're a loser, blah, blah, blah. And like, what the heck did you do? And I'm like, so I just said, oh, no hard feelings. No hard feelings. It's all cool. I'll see you around. And internally I was crushed. Head was down. I backed up, and I finally turned around, and I started walking over to the park garage. And that's when I met a really good friend of mine that I met at a summer program. Very, very phenomenal fellow, very talented, phenomenal singer. And he says, hey, Jorge, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And without even thinking, and because I was so into my feelings, I just blurted out like, hey, do you find me attractive? Would you date me? And I could already, seeing his language of the body he was taken aback. He was like, oh wow, this is all of a sudden, and it's like, are you sure everything's okay? And I said, you know what, it was a dumb question. Never mind. I just got to get to class. I got to get my books from my car, and I just got to get to class. And he's like, no, don't be shy. And he's like, no, I gotta go. So later that night, as I'm reading for history class, I was catching up on some reading. I was doing the homework, and right around like 8:30, that's when I received a text message. I opened it up, and it was from a friend. And he asked me, "Hey, were you serious when you asked me that question, like if I found you attractive or if I would date you?" And I said, "Well, I mean, I was kind of serious. I mean, I just wasn't having a great day, and I just, I just, my self-esteem was like blah, blah, blah." And then I received a like text message long message, and it basically read is like, "No, the reason I ask you is because when I first met you at the summer program, I found you to be a really attractive guy, and I didn't know if you were if you were one way or if you were the other, and I just didn't know, but I just found you to be quite attractive since, and I was actually wondering if you still would like to be with me." And just to give you the short version, I was taken aback. I was like, oh gosh, this is all of a sudden. And I had to explain to him, and I said, "Listen, I like you, but I don't like you." And that was quite an interesting day for rejection to happen twice. But to this day, I'm still friends with him, and I look back at it, and all I can do is just laugh about it. And if I knew what I know now in terms of like mental fitness, in terms of how to handle a situation like that, yeah, I think that it would have turned out better. I think it would have turned out better. But hey, you make mistakes. Sometimes we get caught up in our feelings and we just ask questions that we didn't even think about at the time, and just move on. So all I can say is, if those two awesome people that are part of this story, I'm pretty sure you may figure out who you are. Just know that I still admire you. I still respect you all. I'm sending you lots of love, and just create a wonderful day tomorrow. And I will share another story. I'll share another tip for you all soon. Take care, everyone. And I hope this was something that you can think of on, maybe you might relate to this. All right, everyone. Take care. Peace.